Welcome to the Border Chronicle Weekly Roundup, September 5th. And guess where I am?
No idea. No
I'm
idea at
not
all,
at
Melissa.
I'm not at the border. I'm in St. Louis, and we have this beautiful view here of the St. Louis Arch and the beautiful Mississippi River in the backdrop. I'm at a publishers conference called Lion Publishing, which I really recommend to anybody who may be on the live video watching who runs a small publication. It's been super productive, just talking to like small publishers from all over the country about how to run a business and a small publication like ours, which leads me to this week we're celebrating our fourth annual uh, anniversary for the Border Chronicle. We started in September of 2021, so we've made it to 4 years, which is amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Or believable. Believable. I mean, a
Todd.
lot of
Todd
it's
is
just
Todd's speechless.
I'm speechless. But a lot of it's just like the daily or the weekly just doing it, right? I want to say the weekly grind of it, the weekly building the house with bricks, placing the
Yeah,
bricks every single week for 4 years. And then all of a sudden it's 4 year anniversary. And you're like, whoa, how did those 4 years go by so
yeah,
quickly? It seems like it was just yesterday that we were getting this thing started.
yeah. Oh, Steve says he doubts you're ever speechless.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, okay, thanks.
Yeah. No, we've consistently posted every Tuesday and Thursday for 4 years, and now we have this Friday roundup, which is something, we did our first reader survey last year on our 3rd anniversary, and what people really told us overwhelmingly is we really appreciate having everything in just one post on Friday, and and then links to other important stories from across the border region. And then of course I've Substack has this live video feature, so we've been trying that out too, right, for people who don't want to read their news, just to recap what's been going on in the Border Chronicle this week and across the region. And so, of course, a big thing for us is our 4th anniversary. Of course, the U.S. media landscape has crumbled to dust, as we wrote in our anniversary post, and it's being rebuilt, which is exciting. By independent journalists like us. Us on the Substack platform. So we're journalists learning how to run a business, which is um, interesting and kind of cool. And so that's why I'm here at the very beginning. I'm here at a publishers conference in St. Louis this week, learning more about how to grow and expand the Border Chronicle. So we hope, you know, um, if you've been a free subscriber for a long time, that maybe you might consider becoming a paid subscriber, because right now everything we do is powered by our readers and paid subscribers. So we really appreciate it. If people have the ability to pay, that's really, really great. And thank you to everybody joining us this morning for this weekly roundup. And so, Todd, you had a really interesting Q&A with Belen Fernandez, who I think is like one of the bravest journalists I know, and she has a new book out about the Darien Gap, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, about your Q&A with her.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree. But Belen is definitely one of those super brave and journalists who also is what just so astute at that on the ground immersion reportage. I believe her new book is called the Darien Gap, so that's the name of it. A reporter's journey through the deadly crossroads of the Americas. And I do believe this is Belen's sixth book. Might be
Yeah,
fifth or
she's
sixth.
prolific. Yeah,
It's very prolific.
yeah,
Yeah.
always traveling, always reporting, putting out books. Yeah,
For a long time, Belen, she has one book that's called Exile. Um, And that book was about how she hadn't been to the United States, or was purposely trying not to to go to the United States. And I think she accomplished doing that for about 15 years.
Wow.
But her whole point in that book, it's a super good book, and I highly recommend it, is that by avoiding the United States, she saw the United States.
Mhm.
She came face to face with, for example, U.S. foreign policy. And that's what she does in this book too, like the Darien Gap, and the Q&A that we published yesterday. Belen does put a lot of time into thinking about the people that she meets and the places that she goes. And in this case, through the Darien Gap, she actually goes to the Darien Gap, and that's in Colombia and Panama. And it's that stretch of
Yeah.
territory where there's the Pan American Highway. You can take the highway from Alaska, I believe, to the del Fuego, and
Yeah.
that's a one stretch where it's impassable. And so she went there, and she has this on the ground reportage, reporting from there, and going partially with a group, but also she spent a whole she spent time in an immigration prison in Mexico, where she met all kinds of people who told her their journeys through the Darien Gap as well. So she's very rich. That she has so many stories and stories of people and the on the ground experience of it, which you can see when you go to the Q&A, and you can see how she describes it. She has a way of writing too that's really, I think it's very unique, the how she can like turn sentences, and she has this eye for the absurd
Yeah.
that's really really I always I'm just she has this eye for the absurd, but she can insert a number of different levels of feeling and thought and analysis, all often all in one sentence. So I
Yeah.
just recommend going and checking out her question and answer. It really gives you a taste of what Belen was doing in this book, and all her books, to be quite frank. And it's just so packed with insight of how to frame and look at all of the stuff going around on. And for a while there was a Darien Gap that was like the border, right? One
Yeah.
of the biggest
Yeah.
border crossings. I'm Belen is reporting that it's going down a little bit as of late, but who knows? I mean, that's a place. It's definitely the borders, right? It ramps up, goes down. There's ebbs and flows. I guess
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, and we did a lot of reporting, last year and the previous year about the Darien Gap because, of course, that's where everybody was traveling through there, arriving at the southern border, the U.S. southern border, and then requesting asylum. And so it's interesting what she's saying is that now with a lot of the border being like a military installation, and the U.S. more or less shutting down asylum at the border beginning in under Biden's administration, that people are stuck, and so they're actually migrating south now through the Darien Gap, like, they were sort of stuck in that area, and now they're going back south, and that it's even more vicious heading south because they're being targeted by organized crime and being exploited, and it just sounds really, really tough, um, because of course migration doesn't ever stop, even if President Trump says it has, it hasn't. People are going somewhere; they have to go somewhere. Um, so she had some interesting observations about what's happening to people now, who are really in limbo and really really stuck. And I'll add, you did a great Q&A with her last year about her. You mentioned her being detained in, is it Latin
Mm.
America's largest, detention, system, or just Mexico's largest detention
I
facility
think
called.
it's Mexico. I think it's Mexico.
It's a massive detention facility with the really dystopian name of, Siglo XXI, the 21st century
I've
detention
been there.
facility.
I've
Yeah,
been
have you been
I've
there?
not been in I've not been inside of it, but I've been outside of it. And I remember I interviewed some people at an NGO in Tapachula. It's really close to Tapachula. And They took one of the director of the NGO told me about going in there and seeing CBP, Customs and Border Protection, U.S.
Right.
Customs and Border Protection agents inside. He thought they were there. He asked the receptionist if he could see the CBP, talk to the CBP agents. The receptionist didn't even realize what he was doing and led him right to these CBP people in the Siglo XXI detention center. And that's where Belen, she was there for one night, but she has
Yeah.
a whole huge,
Yeah. Right.
that witness of it was is that book. I highly recommend that book as well.
Yeah, yeah, I've compared her to George Orwell in the way that she sort of embeds herself and
Yeah.
lives, you know, at the street level and reports from the grassroots level up. You know, she's in it, she's not detached, which, I really appreciate, the reporting that she does and, the books that she does. So, yeah, everybody check out Belen's new book on the Darien Gap, and it's, there's a link to it in the Q&A, that we posted on Thursday that Todd did this really great Q&A, and you can purchase her book there. Um, yeah, so, um, well, I'm in St.
Well,
Louis.
we should say that our real anniversary, I mean, we're on the
Yes,
anniversary month. Our real anniversary is actually September 11th. You know, we remember
yeah,
we
you're right.
started on the 20th anniversary of Department of Homeland, or it's not the department, it's the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, which really have, you know, impacted the borderlands in ways that at the time probably were unimaginable. So
Yeah.
that's our official starting date is September 11th.
Right, and well, and we did that because of the creation of the Department of Homeland Security, which came out of the attacks, which really
Hmm.
rippled across the border, and, yeah, the publicist, "That's a rough anniversary." Yeah, we shouldn't be like, "Oh, it's September 11th," but, I mean, the creation of DHS, those attacks, it really changed everything at the border, and, I know I was reporting in McAllen, Texas on September 11th. I was at the border and I was stringing for Time Magazine at that time, and they were like, "The whole border is shut down, you know, go down there and witness it." And actually, the border didn't shut down. There were people still crossing on that day, but it was very, very strange to watch the attacks happening from afar, and then to just see the ripples on the border. I mean,
Hmm.
that started the Secure Fence Act, the Patriot Act, the border wall, all of that started, and so basically, our reporting careers have been reporting on the after effects of the 9/11 attacks. A lot of it, the infrastructure that was built up around that, and
Yeah, I'm gonna be
still
writing
affect us.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be this week. I actually am gonna be writing something for September 11th, so it'll be a bit of a reflection on a lot of what you're just saying, Melissa. Looking at that anniversary, but looking at the creation of DHS in 2003, and really this idea of we brought up this idea of a war, an act of war,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in a lot of ways, you can look to the creation of DHS and all that's come from it, and really put it in that analysis, and it sadly really coheres.
Yeah, I mean, and we're really seeing it now because we warned, that ICE could be used and Border Patrol as a political tool by an authoritarian leader as it is now. It's being used as a sort of like, secret police or not secret police at all, but really being, politicized by the
I
current
remem
administration.
I remember being warned, and I was doing, research for my book, Border Patrol Nation, which was, it came out in 2014, so I was doing research in 2012, and I remember talking to this lawyer, an immigration lawyer in New York State, in Buffalo, New York, actually, and she spent probably 30 minutes of the interview, and it was about a 40 or an hour-long interview, stressing that she thought that this whole DHS policing network, um,
Yeah,
or apparatus was a national security police. And she just
yeah,
kept saying that and giving me all kinds of reasons why that was true and why we should be looking at this with much more intensity and intent.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
back to that often. I think back to that interview
Yeah.
often because it was very insightful at the time, and I just can't help to
Yeah.
agree with her going forward, and especially now.
Boy, you should include her in the piece that you're doing if you can
Yeah,
find her.
maybe I'll.
Yeah, it would be good to think back. I mean, now 11 years later, right? And yeah, this is something that we've spent a lot of our careers writing about and sort of warning would happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Jen
So,
Budd's been our friend of the Border
yeah.
Chronicle, Jen Budd, the former Border Patrol agent, now
Yeah.
whistleblower and author. She I've seen that she in fact, I think you did an interview with her where she made it very explicitly clear
Yeah,
that
I
about
could
the
become secret police. Yeah, yeah, we
mhm,
did that. Gosh, at the beginning, I think in January or something. Yeah. So, and here we are. Yeah.
here we are. Here
Yeah.
we are. Yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for Todd's piece on the creation of DHS, looking backwards and looking forwards, because that's really what we do at the Border Chronicle is that we keep on these issues, year after year. We don't parachute in and leave. Like we're here in the border region. Well, I'm here in St. Louis right now, but
Yeah, you're on the border.
right.
I see the arc behind you.
Yeah, writing about these issues. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
Oh, we should mention one month the we're having a party.
Oh my gosh, yes, a fun thing. A
Uh,
fun thing.
we
We're
have a
having a
fun thing coming.
party on the 25th. If you're in Tucson, anybody listening, please come and join us at Slow Body Brewery on the 25th, from 5:30 to 8. We put out the flyer on. Wait, what's uh I don't know, Pablo.
Mm,
Pablo said, "Oh, fun? What's that?" Very funny. I know, we have to have fun, you guys, because this is
mhm.
gonna be a very, very long administration, so, yeah. So we're gonna have a party to celebrate our 4th anniversary, and we really hope anybody in the Tucson area or thereabouts will come and join us at Slow Body Brewery. It's a very cool brewery, from 5:30 to 8. So with the flyers out on our social media, and it's on the site too, and we'll keep publicizing it leading up to the 25th. It's a Thursday, so that's, Thursday night is when the cool people go out. Cool people don't go out on Fridays, they go out on Thursdays.
That's why I'm never out on Thursdays.
Right,
No,
right,
just kidding,
right.
just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, we wish you were gonna be there too, Pablo. We
Come
will,
on
we
over,
will.
Pablo.
I
Yeah.
know, yeah, come to Tucson, come to Tucson.
Come over to Tucson. You have a good excuse now. We can hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Well, cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this morning for the Border Chronicle Weekly. Steve says I must not be cool. Yeah, we're not cool either, actually.
yeah. We'll claim to be cool that night, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But thank you everybody for joining us for the weekly roundup, and we hope you'll check out we have a lot of great links to other stories from across the border region too, included. So I'll be posting that shortly after this video. All right. Well, goodbye from
mm,
lovely St.
mm.
Louis.
And bye.
Okay.
See you in Tucson next week.
See you back in Tucson. Bye.
Mm.